What's up, Collector fam? Guys, I wanted to get a second before the episode to once again thank you for tuning into the podcast, episode 2. But number 2, today we got a crazy episode. So today's episode is all about an artist named My Vintage Life 1904. And the reason why I wanted to give you guys some context on Foolio before the episode starts is because this guy is creating waves in the tie-dye space. He has about 7,200 shirts sold on the platform called Whatnot. His shirts have sold for as much as $2,400. And believe it or not, he's only 3 years into this. So he's an incredible mindset. He has so many amazing parts of his journey. And right now he has collaborations with Joey Mars and Liquid Blue, which are the biggest tie-dyers in the tie-dye space. So guys, this is going to be a crazy episode. Buckle up from My Vintage Life 1904. Welcome back to the second episode of the Tea Talk podcast. Guys, today I am so excited. We have on one of the man, the myth, the legends, My Vintage Life. This man right here, Foolio, is a living legend in his own right. He really is. I first met him on Whatnot. Was it 3 years ago? 3 years ago
Um,
now.
Martin of 22.
Wild, wild. And I remember like 3 years ago, I had an art cafe at the time. I was in the art space. I'm on Whatnot, and I see Foolio in that room, that dope room that you had, surrounded by the dopest tie dyes I'd ever seen. Get mask on, spray can like paint everywhere, right? And I would just see Julio like live for 12, 13, 4. I'm like, when is this guy gonna stop? All he does is tie dye. And to see you go from where you were back then, just being a passionate artist, devoted to his work, just so locked into what you knew was your future, to now having collaborations with Joey Mars, Liquid Blue. I mean, dude, you're a legend, right? And anybody that's out there that may be a struggling artist or someone that's trying to get into the space, this is a man that's not only shown his entire process to his community, but continues to show up every day. And I mean, he's an absolute legend. So without further ado, I would like to introduce My Vintage Life, Foolio. Foolio, take it away, man. I want you to just tell the community out here, tell people more about like your story. How did you get into this? Like what sparked tie dye and this whole crazy brand that you've created?
So during COVID, basically, just like everybody else, I started reselling. I started on like OfferUp and Facebook Marketplace, and I would buy these bales. And a lot of times the good shirts were very stained and couldn't get out of them. So I started dyeing them to make them cooler and have more value to them. And that's how I started tie dyeing. And then from there, I just got very interested into it, and then dove deep into YouTube, and that's where it started.
So initially, what was it about tie dyeing that was like out of everything else out there? Obviously, there's tons of, there's people that paint on canvas, there's sketch artists, there's, people that have their own clothing brand. They throw a name on a shirt and they call it a day, right? What was it about tie dyeing though, man, that just made you go like, this is something?
I was going through a time in my life where I was depressed, and I needed to find some kind of an escape, a healthy one. So I started, getting very into the selling, and when that came about, the whole stains and trying to, get them out and couldn't do it, and I was just like, you know what, I'll tie dye these, and I felt I felt that, that zone, that I could disappear into, and I just dove deep into it after that.
I didn't even know that, and I've known you for years. So you're saying that initially it was like, hey, I'm gonna resell. I have these clothes. All of a sudden, you start realizing, hey, maybe 50% of these batches, this shirt is unwearable, right? Got a bleach stain on it, right?
Right.
Someone spilled something at dinner, right? Your mentality is, hey, these aren't going to Goodwill. This is just an opportunity to take the stain and make it into something that's wearable. Something that you actually saw something that wasn't even there. That's pretty cool, man. When you first started into tie dyeing, like, how did you start? Like, what did you do? Did you go to like the art craft store and say, "Hey,
No,
give me some paint"?
I was customizing shoes with Angelus paint and stuff like that, and and restoration. So I had some Angelus suede dye, so I mixed those up with water because I figured, I didn't exactly have money to spend on a hobby. It was always flea markets or posting at home, and then trying to create my store inside of my own home. Basically, I started with that, and then even the string that I had was sewing string, and I would get some beeswax and I would put it all over the string, and I would tie it up with that. So I didn't have the right materials from the beginning, but it got my interest so much that I would use basically anything I had that I could do it with, I would use.
Now you get your start. You're looking anything that would allow you to tie the next shirt was happening. What got you into the vintage side?
When I moved to San Diego, I think I was like 14. My mom did a lot of thrifting all the time, so I'd always go with her. And I always liked, odd shirts and stuff like that, or big, colorful shirts and stuff like that. So it's always been a thing. And then I had these things, and down the line, when I started watching YouTube when that came out, because it wasn't out back then, I started seeing that stuff was worth money. I was just like, whoa, I already do this. I already look at that kind of stuff. This is already like my thing that I do. So it was always a thing. I just never knew it had such value. And, you know, I was a single parent when I made the decision to get into vintage. And I needed to work from home because, my son.
To start doing something and then to make something that's bigger, a brand, a community, right? It takes a lot more than just, you know, getting that first shirt. So for you, like, what was your start into saying, you know what, I think I'm going to do this, the customizing side full time. And I think that future isn't going to be just about thrifting. It's about doing customs, curating different dyes. Like what was the moment where you realized that was the future?
When I was dying, I was doing my tie dyes. And when I started doing the tie dyes, I was copying the patterns on YouTube, and I got bored with that. But I still wanted to tie dye, so I just started tie dyeing. I don't even know what my thoughts were, my process, but I kept looking deeper and deeper into it, and I started making these creations, started seeing these faces in them, and I remember thinking like, I need money. I wasn't doing very good. I wasn't doing very good, as far as like as far as for keeping the roof over my head, you know? So I had to dream big and big and big. And I remember when I was making my creations, I remember the one that I pull out, I saw faces in it. And I was just thinking to myself, like, and I wish I could draw so I could bring out these faces. When I was thinking about that and I was watching YouTube, out comes a video of these guys on Whatnot. And then they were interviewing Joy Mars. And like, I had this moment where I was just like, Joey Mars. I go, I know his work. And I go, man, if I could get a man like that to draw on my shirts, this could be something. I go, this is different. This is it was a hobby for me. So nobody even seen these dyes before when I had this idea. And I remember hearing Joey's voice and just going, I recognize his voice. We're friends. This is like it sounds too good. And it was just like, I'm going after Joey Mars. I go, I got nothing else to lose. We're gonna shoot for the stars. you know, and go past the stars and hit Mars. And here we are today.
Awesome. I remember back then, like driving back from the cafe, having your stream on and talking to you about it, and you saying like, "Hey man, Joey Mars just hit me up to do a collab." And I remember I was talking like on the chat and even reaching out and you saying like, "Hey, I can't. This is my goal. I'm not going to stop until I hit it. I'm doing it in the shadows right now. Nobody's going to see it coming." How did that happen? Like, you got to tell me that story, man. Like, what was that? Were you in the stream and then he came in? Did he call you? Like, how did that even start? Like, because I mean, that's been a game changer, right?
Yeah. So like how I was introduced to Joey Mars was me shooting, for the start, sending a random message to somebody that didn't know who I was. And then it took them like 2 months to answer it. But I remember going on one day on stream and Wood was in there, and I was like, "Hey, Wood," I go, "Joey Mars is live." I go, let's introduce ourselves. So he gets a raid together, you know, and I start giving a speech about Joey Mars and blah blah blah. So we raid him. We raid him, and you know, the chat starts going crazy and stuff like that. And you know, he ends up co-hosting me during the show, which he didn't know how to co-host. So he co-hosted me on the show, and I showed him one of the shirts, and I that's when I made my proposal to him about drawing on the shirts, and you know, the man said yes. He said yes, and you know, it was a big moment for me. It was a big moment for me reaching out to somebody such as Joey Mars, and then him actually giving me a chance and welcoming me with open arms.
I can't imagine. I don't think anyone
Yeah,
at home could even imagine.
yeah.
What was it like working with Joey Mars? I mean, I don't even. Was it like going home? You know, you do a couple shroom trips. You know, you spin around in the forest, see what happens on the shirt. Like, I mean, everyone knows that his artwork is always so wild. So it must be awesome to just be in that creative space. Like, what was it like?
It was it was amazing from the start. It was. I remember when me and Wood just first pulled up to Joey's house, and we look at this. We're going towards the garage because that's open, and all over the parking, you know, the concrete, there's paint splatters and stuff like that, and we're just like, bro. And then I look up, and there's like a
During
million spray cans. Yeah, there's a million spray cans, bro. And I'm just like, I'm like, what? I go, dude. I go, bro. And then we go into the studio, and he starts showing us around, and uh, Joy Mars is he's a creative, very creative. He is he's in a Joey Mars world. You know what I mean? It's where he likes to stay. It's what he loves to do. But being with Joey and working with Joey was a big learning curve for me. From going to not knowing how to draw to collabing with him on a hat, and then him being my mentor. Joey's taught me so much. He's stepped up my game by millions. Uh, we have fun. It's exciting. It's legendary. It's a lot of things that I couldn't fathom before in the you know. Yeah, Joey Mars, man. He's you know he's a badass.
wild, from one badass to another badass.
Hey, we trying, man. We trying.
What about Liquid Blue? Because I mean, it's funny how like you have two big players in tie dye. You have Joey Mars, which is known for
The Zidzoid,
Zidzoid. Yep,
AOP Zidzoid. That's the one that Travis Scott wore. And then you got the Aerosmith shirt, which Aerosmith came up to Joey and asked for that to be done as a project. And then he did work for Grateful Dead, Pearl Jam, and then Liquid Blue, legendary Liquid Blue. You know, Paul Redulis and Joey have they've been friends for quite a while.
and it's crazy that you actually got to hit both sides. So you have the Joey Mars side, which is the artist that had massive collaborations through the 90s with all the biggest artists that now, I mean, you think about a band like Aerosmith. I mean, it's these are huge artists that inspired our generation. Then you go on
Icons.
the other side and you go Liquid Blue. And Liquid Blue, I mean, you have the half baked AOP that everybody knows about, the one that's the ocean. Travis Scott obviously is always wearing the Liquid Blue designs with the skulls over it. Grateful Dead. I mean, anybody that knows Grateful Dead knows Liquid Blue because everything's printed on Liquid Blue's tag, and you have collaborations with both brands. So Joy Mars, that was your experience. What about Liquid Blue, man? How is it when they reached out? Like, what was that art world that you got thrown into?
Liquid Blue is still a new relationship, but we're I consider them very good friends of mine. Um, it's been an eye opener, bro. It's been an eye opener talking to Paul. Paul's a genius. Let me tell you something. Um, and then there's a son Nino, you know, amazing guy, with big shoes to fill, you know. But he's got this. He's got this. It's been an eye opener from just the history that Paul's able to drop when he's talking about t-shirts. to the very first conversation that we had, the first time we met. He was straight up with me, and he liked what he saw, and ever since then we've been, you know, we still talk. It's been amazing, dude, just to see the process of how stuff works, and even just to be able to call the man himself is. Sometimes I think about that and I go, man, this is crazy. Yeah, it's just like it's that was the same feeling that when I got Joey Mars' number for the first time. I was just like, I'd be live and then I'd get a text message and I'd be like, ding, and I'd be like, oh, sorry guys, it's Joey Mars. Let me get this. Let me. Yeah, I know the things we do, right? But that's how excited I was. I was super excited that from where I was to where I was starting to go in such a small amount of time. It was like a Disney movie. You know what I mean? It was like a Disney movie. Everything just panned out perfect. The right people met up, and the team that we got now is. I mean, you got the best of the best of the best. What can I say?
What
You
is
know?
what is your mindset going? Because I mean, obviously artists, they have to be very confident in their own work, and there's a part of being an artist that I think you have to be very confident in who you are and what you give off. But then meeting an artist like Liquid Blue, like Joey Mars, I mean, what was your mindset going into a conversation initially, knowing like these people are not only experienced in the industry, but they're actually the I don't even know what the word is, the disruptors, right? They've actually became the culture, right? Initially, when they reached out to you, how did you approach that conversation? What was your mindset going into?
I just be yourself, man. I was just that didn't even come to mind. I think when we met Joey, we just we hit it off. Same thing with Paul.
That's spoken like a true natural artist. Just, hey, this is who I am. My dyes speak for themselves. Let's
Yeah.
rock and roll. See what we're gonna do. Which tie dye was your favorite one when you were initially starting all the collabs? Like, were there any ones that you remember meant more to you, or any designs that to this day you're like, I'll never get rid of these. This means too much.
Yeah, yeah. So the one I sold, the one I sold, the one I sold, but that was used for the good, for the next chapter in my life. Sold for 2.5K. You know, uh, never thought I'd get rid of that shirt, but for in order for this next chapter in life of mine, I I needed something, and then I realized that that shirt does not make my dream come true if I have it. If it's out in somebody else's closet that appreciates it also and is wearing it out in public and eyes are seeing it, that's where the magic works. Not if I'm flexing it on Whatnot and I'm the one that makes them. That's not how it goes. When say for Liquid Blue, if they make a bunch of shirts, they don't just only release some of them. They make them available to the public. That's how it works. You don't just keep them for yourself. Um, I'm starting to find out these things now after being Whatnot so long and having them for so long and just wanting that dream. So I gotta, if I want to reap what I sow, I gotta water my plant.
That makes sense. Now, speaking of that, you have a show. I don't know if the podcast is going to be out by that time. I'm pretty sure it will be. So I want to give the people at home a chance to score this if they do hear the story about it. You have a live next month coming out. I know it's your birthday live. And I know you said your favorite shirt, the one that had the most meaning to you, is sold. Out of right now, what you have, which would you say that'll be in that next show is that second piece that really meant a lot for you in this whole journey?
That would have to be here. It would have to be. Yeah. It was right here. This had to sting.
Keep eyeing up that tie dye on the top, too.
This one
Yeah.
or this one?
The one on the right.
Did I just had them, or did I take them to the? I think I took them to the storage. Oh no! Wait! Here we go! Here we go! Here we go! This one right here. So this shirt right here. This is the very first shirt when I, told you a story about rating them and me putting them
Remember
together.
that.
This is it. This one is. This is the very first time I tie dyed anything with Joey Mars's work on it. I bought it brand new. This was all white. Besides his artwork, I was trying to show Joey that we could do something and on something simple like that. And that's going up for sale August 20th, also for a big goal. And then number two is this one. So this was a gift that I gave to Joey, and then he sent it back because I had asked him for a banner, and then he put this on the back. So that's the banner for, you know, this is an amazing shirt, bro. This shirt means so much to me that, this is the first time that it was like I could put it on my show as a banner. Look it says my name, guys.
Like
Joey Mars' artwork.
Joey Mars' stamp of approval saying like, I fuck with this
Yeah,
guy.
yeah.
That's my homie.
basically, that's what that was, and uh, he didn't tell me about it. He just sent it to me, and I was, you know, I'm very grateful for that for Joey. And Joey's he's an amazing person.
Someone next month is gonna get a piece of history right there. I mean, that's like goosebumps. What about
Yeah,
the business side, man? I mean, obviously, as an artist, it's never the thing we want to think about, right? So what were some challenges that you faced early on that you realized like, damn, I really I'm gonna have to really figure this out in order for me to make this something long term.
I had no choice. I had no choice. I had to do something. Like I said, the whole roof over the head was it was something that I might have lost, and I had no decision but to go full strength ahead and try something crazy. As uh, basically just not wanting to be homeless. That's what made me go so hard. My son, he was what, 15 at the time, so I definitely wanted to keep a roof over his head, and that's that was my fire.
It's crazy because the last episode we had Roxy on here. And Roxy's approach was, invest slow. You don't want to over leverage yourself because you don't want to throw yourself into the deep end. Yeah, right. Yeah, okay.
Oh my god, damn!
Took your breath
I'm
away.
like, whoa, yeah. Come on, take that out, take that out, take that out.
Yeah.
Oh my god. All right, sorry. Go ahead.
No. Are you okay?
Yeah. No, I'm good. I'm good. Here, hold on.
There you go. But yeah, no. So Roxy last episode was talking a lot about how her approach was starting out small, not over leveraging, being more calculated. And obviously, not everyone's like that in business, right? There are some people that are really risky, and they steam ahead, they jump into the pool, eyes closed, they don't even check the temperature of the water, right? So
Right.
for you, like what was in your mindset back then? I mean, I know you said it was do or die. It was, homeless or homed, right? But where did you get that mindset from? Because, there are people out there that might be in a similar situation to you and they won't have that do or die mindset. They might be scared, right? They might give up or just throw in the towel. So how did you get that mindset of, you know what, it's sink or swim, and I'm going to swim?
Right. It was my dad. My dad was always talking about energy, manifestation, how the universe works and stuff like that. And I didn't listen in the beginning like we all, we just throw it off. But I don't remember how or why, but I came across a book. I came across a book. It was called The Game of Life and How to Play It by Florence Scovel Shinn. And it was
Mhm.
like published in like 1952 or something like that. Or, it was an old book. I don't know. I don't remember how I got the thing or why I came across it or anything, but I read it. Ever since I read that book, I've been able to view everything differently as far as like the energy I put out there, the energy that I carry, how powerful the mind is. It's wild. It's wild once you learn these things and what you're capable of and how far you're willing to go to make these things happen, you know, especially if you set the bars all the way up here.
I can tell you one thing, I'm definitely going to get that book.
Hey man, I recommend it all the time.
I don't
I
know if anyone else
recommend
is
it
home.
all the time. Hey,
It's definitely gonna be. We would have to get an
it's
openable conversation going. But yeah, that's cool, man. It's cool how you know, and I always said, you know, and I had a mentor when I was younger tell me this as well. The things that hurt us the most are the things we don't know. So, you know, it's crazy how that book can be such a game changer for your life, and I'm definitely gonna read it. What about the so you know obviously you have getting from you know homeless to you know now you have a consistent business, it's growing, you know you're getting a community, but we're so far into that. I mean you're at a point now where you're like a celebrity on the platform, right? And you have collaborations with the largest you know people in your industry. So how do you juggle the creative side where, you know, obviously you want to make what makes you happy as an artist and your expression and the people that have requests, right? Hey, custom, I want you to do this for me. How do you juggle that creating for the act of expression and creating for profit and maybe prioritizing what people want from your art? What's your mindset around that?
being a new artist. I'm just trying out everything for the first time. I'm just trying. There's no other goal in mind except to just pull it off, pull it off, and the biggest thing is to not just have the people buy it because of the name, but buy it and want to wear it every day. So I try to make the hat connect in some way, shape, or form in a different way. That way, people like to be loud and express themselves loudly. Uh, that's where I can make that shine.
And I can see that a lot in your community too, even with the Joy Mars collab. Joy Mars being a very loud artist and then blending that into your style, it makes sense. So basically balancing the customization and the expression, it's more for you about you've built a community that wants both, right? They've actually learned that your style is the style they're actually looking for. And I think a lot of artists sometimes struggle with that, right? Especially because you know, as an artist, maybe you're someone that's a couple years in and you're thinking about giving up and maybe you have the opportunity to make some money doing something that isn't your natural form of art. And it's cool how you've always kept that core to your art and you've never let it, you know, you've never let someone negotiate that away from you. How do you think you fit into vintage? Because I've always wondered that. You know, you go into the vintage category on whatnot. Obviously, there's other platforms as well. You don't see a lot of tie dyers, right? And people, I always think to myself, like, I started out as a record collector. So my intro into vintage was, hey, it's a record on a piece of cotton, right? But for you, you know, being in the vintage category, you do get people that say, like, hey, this is single stitch territory, right? And now you're coming in with, you know, fresh paint, right? Brand new, not a modern, technically, right? It's not a modern. So, you know, what is your mindset around that? Like, obviously, you've made your brand in the vintage category. How and why?
I don't know why, the how. I just came in and I have vintage to offer. Joey Mars's stuff is vintage that we sell, but I think it's just been so many hours on the platform. I think last time I checked, I have 3,200 hours on the platform of streaming. Yeah,
3,200.
yeah, 3,200 hours, which is like equivalent to like 4 months or something like
Let
that.
me look that up. Let me look that up. Hold on. So 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 for anybody that is now seeing your streams and sees you doing these, you know, 200, 300, $500 shirts, it's taken you 3,000 hours.
Yeah,
So 3,000 hours. So you've streamed for a total of 125 days straight. It's funny too, because Roxanne said the same thing. She's like, you know, don't compare my day one to your, you know, your day one to my day 100, right? And I said, you know, I laughed at her. I said her day 400, 4,000. And you know, you actually have day 125 of streaming, right?
yeah,
So unless that person puts in, you know, a third of a year straight of just never turning the camera off, you know,
that's
that's the comparison. Wow, man.
That's how
Is there
hungry I
anything that
was.
surprised you through this all? Like that you were just like, I'm 125 days streaming in. Like anything that is to you, just like, well, how did this happen?
Yeah. Every morning when I wake up, especially when I have like a bunch of hats and shirts that I need to do, and I wake up and I'm just like, it's not. I don't forget who I am, but sometimes I'll just look and I go, oh, dude, like we got so much work to do, so much responsibility, and I think, how did we get here so fast? We got here in such small amount of time, and I didn't get on the platform to draw, and I didn't even get on the platform to make tie dyes. I wanted to sell clothes. The tie dyes was my thing that I wanted to reach out to Joey, but the army just started building itself up on whatnot. And from there, it just got out of control. The energy was there, and one thing led to another, and now I'm here with Joe the Collector.
I love it. I love it. I'm here with you, man. What about the future? Because I mean, obviously, from where you started to where you are now, I mean, it's inspirational, right? I think to myself every day that it's I can go back through the moments and see how you've gotten here, and I can't even get over it. It's insane. What do you want to do next? I mean, you've collabed with Liquid Blue now. You've collabed with Joey Mars. Like, what is the next level up for my vintage life?
So when I first started streaming, before any of this was even a thing, I told people I shouted out three things. I go, I want to work with Joey Mars. I want a T-shirt with a Liquid Blue tag on it, and I want somebody like Travis Scott to wear my shirt. So that's where we're at.
Whoa.
Yeah, yeah. So we've hit two goals in 2 years. There's no reason why I should doubt myself now.
Is there anything in the pipeline right now that maybe you can share that is coming out in the next 6 months?
Definitely tune into Liquid Blue right now. Big things about to happen. As far as what I can say, I do not have permission, but I do heavily suggest keep your eyes on Liquid Blue for right now. This next 6 months is going to be, it's going to be wild. It's not just one thing. There's multiple things going on. So it's, not only, prepare for, a bumpy ride, I got to prepare for a bumpy ride. So, um, I mean, things is coming. Just gotta be patient. Patient. Makes everything. With working with Paul, you want to perfect things. I mean, he's definitely a perfectionist. So, and he knows what he's doing. So, that's why you don't see me trying to rush things, and I'm just having fun. I mean, the fact that Liquid Blue sends me shirts and allows me and gives me the blessing of airbrushing them and doing what I want with them, I'm very happy right now. I'm very happy with that.
Very teaserish what you're saying right now, and it's perfect. It's literally perfect, and seeing that there's some big things coming, and it must be hard for you to even keep that in right now because I hear it. I hear the tension.
Hey, brother, it's coming. Enjoy the ride. You know what I mean? If you get there too fast, where's the excitement then? You know, sometimes we just got to learn how to stretch the good stuff and use it the right way. That way, it makes the journey more exciting. It's definitely, yeah, yeah.
That's spoken like someone with experience.
Yeah,
What
well,
about
yeah.
speaking of that? Obviously you're an inspiration to anybody on the platform that we're on, and just in vintage and art. What tips would you give to someone that maybe right now is home and they have an artistic side that they are looking to express? Maybe they do have some old shirts in their house and they could use extra $100, right? Or maybe they just want to, make a shirt that they have look cooler so they can sport it at school and have their own personal style, right? What advice would you give to that person that, maybe hasn't tie-dyed before? They've never done anything like this before and they are thinking about getting into it, especially after seeing someone like yourself.
If you get into vintage or you get into stuff like that, tie dye, make sure you're having fun, because if not, vintage and selling t-shirts isn't all it's cracked up to be. It's a hustle. It's a tough hustle. It's a very tough hustle. You always have to be consistent, always have to have, shirts to catch attention, that makes people walk in your door, and it's exhausting. So if you're going to jump into that, make sure that you 100% love it and you're ready for a tough hustle. You got to be sourcing, listing, streaming, cleaning, organizing, a little bit of everything from every job that there is to do. That's what, us streamers in the Vincent sections, do behind the scenes. It's a lot.
Tips that you would give people on any of that, things that maybe people overlook and then they don't even think about, tie dye or vintage, whatever you feel like would give that person the best help.
Just have fun. I mean, if you have fun with it, your shows can't go wrong. Don't think about it as going on to Whatnot and making $1 million in one day. Think about building a castle. You'll never meet the people that want to support you if your doors aren't open to the community or to the public. You can never meet those people that are going to lead you or help you with this journey of yours if you're not there for them to meet you or you to meet them. They're never going to know. So the only way to do that is put in your time. Put in your time, be genuine, be yourself. That way when you stream, you don't have to be this character, this persona that you've created to keep that energy of flow, money, 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 money. Have fun with it. The people that will come with that will be genuine as well, and you can't go wrong with that. It's gonna be fun. You're gonna be able to sustain yourself, and be stable. What more can you ask for doing that from your own home?
So if anybody here has ever seen Foolio in his natural element, Foolio's Foolio's community and his shows so hard to explain. It's almost like you've joined a hang, like you're at a chill, and you really can settle down and really get comfortable. Whether it's like 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning, or it's the afternoon, your shows are so natural. It really does feel like you're just hanging out, right? People that come in, they want to host with you because they want to join the conversation. It really does make sense that that's your mindset going into a stream, is to have fun, to be yourself, because it shows, right? It shows in the way people respond to you and the way your shows come off. And I love that, man. Let me honestly, man, this episode has been awesome because I have been watching you this whole time, and it's your mindset from the book that made an impression on you, and just how humble you are when looking into the biggest heads and your experience. You're a breadth of knowledge, man, and I appreciate you coming on here. Let the people know where they can find you, right? Your website, if it's coming out soon, your any socials. Where can they find you? Where can they support you? What's coming up?
So right
Yeah.
now, if anybody wants to message me that's not on Whatnot, my IG is my vintage life 1904. You'll see my name is Foolio. And then same thing with Whatnot. I stay on Whatnot. I like to believe I'm an exclusive to Whatnot. And that's where I've been building this journey that we have going on. So if you're on Whatnot, my vintage life 1904. Don't go looking for Foolio because you're not gonna find me. Yeah. So I stream every night, every day. At least I've done that for the past 3 years, and I like to, have that space where everybody can come in and there's no pressure to have to buy. Buy something if you see that you like, or when you see a custom that catches your attention. By all means, do what you do. But before anything else, anyone's welcome there, and join the chat and have fun, because that's what we love to do.
I love it. Any final words for anybody in the community or anyone in tie dye, and anything you want to say to them before we end the episode?
Yeah. Never give up. Always ask questions, and the world is yours. The mind is a powerful thing, and as long as you believe it and you can see these dreams of yours, the universe has no choice but to believe you and make it happen. That's one of the biggest things I say to everybody. So if you ever doubt yourself or say you're going to have a bad day, the universe is going to believe you and make that happen. So don't do that. Use your words very carefully because you're casting spells.
All right, guys, this has been awesome. This is going to conclude the second episode of the Thrift Talk podcast. Guys, we will be launching episodes monthly from now on. Guys, the whole point of this podcast is really just to put a highlight on the people in this community that not only are putting in the work in every single day, becoming the disruptors of the market, but hearing the mindset of someone that's already done it. And, you know, Foolio here is someone that I've seen go from, like I said, tie-dyeing in his house and you know, just spending the time on the platform, being in front of people, to now he's collaborating with the largest brands. I mean, I could say this from, I think anyone would agree, but what you have going on right now is something that most people would kill for. And to see how your mindset and just how you approach this to make this a reality, it's been a pleasure to learn it from you, brother. I really appreciate you coming on the podcast. Thank you so much. Guys, I love you guys. I will see you guys on the next episode. Until then, check us out on social media. We will be launching on Spotify. We are going everywhere, guys. So stay tuned for more juicy info. I love you guys, and I'll see you next week.